Damien Herlihy, and I'm one of Pavilion ELT's vloggers in 2020. In this series, I've been looking at the concept of using the internet as a virtual textbook for our students. In this episode, we're going to focus on the skill of reading and look at online tools that can help students improve their reading at home. If you haven't already watched the first episode in this series, then take a look. In that episode, I talk about Paul Nation's 4 strands. This framework provides a way for students to organise their English study at home. In this model, reading would fall under meaning-focused input, but it could also be a language learning activity or fluency development. It all really depends on the activity, but more on that later. But first, I want to talk about a concept called deliberate practice, which I read about in a book called Peak Performance. Now, students, when they study at home, can often take a very passive approach and look for the easiest forms of practice, me included. Using the ideas from deliberate practice might be a way for students to get more out of their practice time at home. Well, what is deliberate practice? Cal Newport defined it as follows. 1. Your attention is focused tightly on a specific skill you're trying to master. 2. You receive feedback so you can correct your approach to keep your attention exactly where it's most productive. Well, James Clear says, deliberate practice always follows the same pattern. Break the overall process down into parts. Identify your weaknesses, test new strategies for each section, and then integrate your learning into the overall process. So let's find out what happens if we apply the principles of deliberate practice to snowball fighting. I wonder what skills expert snowball fighters have. Be able to make a good snowball. Work trajectory and angles to your advantage. Dodge and duck. All right, now it's time for lots of practice with feedback. Let's start snowballing. Okay, enough with the snowball metaphor. Let's get back to reading. Let's find out what a reading routine using the principles of deliberate practice would look like in English. Before I go on, let me clarify that the reading routine I suggest is only one part of a healthy reading diet at home for students. Students should also be reading extensively. What's the difference between the two? Well, extensive reading is reading a lot at the right level for you, while intensive reading, as stated by Paul Nation, is not the understanding of today's text, but the understanding of general features which will make tomorrow's text easier to understand. If you want to find out more about intensive reading, check out the article English Teaching Essentials, Intensive Reading. You can access it with a English Teaching Professional subscription online. All right, let's break the routine into steps. Step 1, find some reading material for your students. My personal favourite is the news website, Newsella. It's a big database of news articles. Now, the killer feature for me in this website is the ability to change the level of the articles. Each article is written at 5 levels. This means students can match their reading ability with the level of the article and use it for extensive reading. Or, in the case of intensive reading, students can use a level that's a little bit higher than their ability in reading to improve their vocabulary, grammar, use of discourse markers, genre, all the factors or parts that make up a good reader. Step 2. After choosing the article, students can take a look at the headings, subheadings, photos, and the captions to get an idea of what the article is about and the structure it will follow. This helps prepare the student and also activates any prior knowledge they might have on the topic. Step 3. Cut and paste the article into WordSift. This tool was created by educators to help teachers find important words in a text and also sort those words in different ways. Okay, let's jump into the tool and take a first-hand look. This is the homepage, and whenever you start a new tool, make sure you check out the About, Features and Tips, as they'll give you good background on the tool. Now this box is where it all happens. Cut and paste your article in and click on the Sift button. Now this shows you the top 50 words in the article. If you want to adjust that, you click on the tool icon and type in. So let's type in 25. And this then will adjust the article and show you the top 25 words in the article. Okay, so we can now move to sort words. In this way, I like to sort it from common or most frequent to less frequent. And then we can also mark the words according to the academic list, which you can see here, the general service list, or my preference, the new general service list. Also, you notice the size of the word shows you how frequent it is in this article. And you can click on it and it'll show you how many times that word appears in the article. With participant, it's 4 times. Let's click and scroll down. Now, if we open this screen up, it'll show you the sentences that you have participant in and also where you can find them exactly in the article. So students get a real feel for how these words are used, and if they're unsure of them, they can try to guess the meaning from the different sentences or just look it up in the dictionary. This means before they even start the reading, they understand all the key words that will appear in that article. Step 4. One way to make this more deliberate is to read the article with audio. Graham Burton, in his recent article, Glorious Graphemes, Linking Pronunciation and Spelling, talked about subvocalization or silent speech, which occurs when we read. The muscles we use in speech move very slightly. Our mind is constantly trying to link the written form to the pronunciation. Reading with audio means students won't be applying the wrong sounds to the written word. Other benefits include students keeping pace with the reader and the students processing the text in chunks rather than individual words. Let's have a look at a tool called Natural Reader, which can help with this. I'll let it do the talking because by this time you might be sick of my Australian accent.
Natural Reader converts written text into spoken words. You can use it to read web pages or cut and paste your content into the box like I did here. There are a variety of voices and accents you can choose from. Students can now read any online content at home with audio. Students then gain the benefits I discussed in the last segment. Students could also turn reading into a fluency or speed reading activity by rereading text at faster and faster speeds. Now I'm speaking faster and faster and faster and even more faster. Okay, back to normal speed. To be more deliberate in the practice, students could make a list of problem words. Words where the pronunciation and spelling surprised them. They could then practice those words. Okay, back to the terrible Australian accent.
Step 5. Post-reading. Now, students have a variety of things they can do after reading the article. One simple step is mining the text for vocabulary and then adding it to their vocabulary recording system, which might be an online flashcard program such as Quizlet or simply to a vocabulary book. Or students could use Newsella to compare the different levels of an article. They could then use this to upgrade their vocabulary or the types of grammar structures they use in their writing. So, for example, in this table, I've cut and pasted 4 sentences from the 4 different levels of article in New Zealand, going from easiest on the left to hardest on the right. As you can see, when a student reads the different levels, they can then compare the different structures of the sentence, the different tense or aspects being used, and also the different kinds of vocabulary. This could help students understand more complex forms when reading. Also, they could use it as a model to upgrade their writing. As you can see, there's multiple learning opportunities in just one sentence. More things students can do is put the article away and then try to rewrite it maybe a day or a week later with just the headlines and subheadings. Or students could just read the article at a higher level. The list goes on. I hope this video has got you thinking about how you can get your students to practice their reading more deliberately at home. Leave a comment below about your favourite reading resources. Remember to subscribe to Pavilion ELT and keep up with all the latest videos. Next time, I'll be talking about listening. Before then, remember to get your students reading extensively, intensively, fluently, and deliberately. See you next time.